And maybe I'll share my screen. We can look at the agenda. Okay, can you guys see that all right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Should we start with action items from last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was delinquent and did not send out a doodle for the Docathon, so that's in early May instead of late April.
Early May. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to happen this week, so.
Got it. Yeah, I thought I also had a couple action items. I don't see them here.
Oh, here I see some inlined. Looks like Ian and David.
I did email them. I don't think I received. Let me double check. I think I did email Ian Downs.
Cool.
But I don't think he replied.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I emailed on 26th March.
Okay.
And I haven't heard back from him.
Well, maybe I'll just double check with Ben and see how important it is that we actually make this happen at Twitter, because I would really like to. It seems really cool, but it's impossible if we can't hear back from them. And if they're
and I couldn't get the email of David. Maybe I'll try to find it from Aurora's mailing list or something, and then send it to the Apache address. Maybe Ian is on parental leave or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why he's not responding.
Cool. That's good to know.
And we could also reach out to Uber. I don't know if they would be interested in hosting a sync meeting at some point.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I could ask them too.
Yeah, I can. Maybe I'll reach out to Jitao.
Okay.
Okay.
He seems pretty involved too, so
yeah,
I feel like we have a good chance of them being interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Are they in the South Bay?
They have a big office down there, but they also have a San Francisco office, and they have engineering teams in both.
Cool.
Okay, so looks like was this an action item regarding Mesos Con?
Oh, yes. I will ask Jorg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although Mesosphere Advance has been canceled, so
right.
There's no Mesosphere Advance anymore, so I assume that we're not doing a hackathon along with it. I know they're doing a DCOS training day instead for free, but I don't think they're really going to hackathon there so much as just replace. It's just like a cheap and cheerful training.
Okay. I'm also not sure what's happening with MesosCon. We had this community meeting recently to talk with users about their potential interest in facilitating the next MesosCon. And after that meeting, Sunil sent out an email to a few stakeholders, and I actually followed up with Jorg this morning on that. I'm not sure if there have been any more conversations between Jorg and other community members, but I'm not sure what the current status of MesosCon is either. So maybe we can just postpone that pending more information about MesosCon.
Yeah, do we want to actually, I'll ask Jorg about it, and maybe if he wants, he can tell us about it at the next working group meeting or something, if there are any concrete plans.
Actually, let's try to get Jorg to attend the next community working group meeting and chat about that. That's a good idea. And let's see. So I had an action item, ask Alex about release working group. I didn't do that. I'm not sure that the release working group is something I want to do for the current release. So maybe if subsequent managers want to spin that up, but I don't know. That seems to me like something that's maybe best for just email communication between release managers and people working on features. So in any case, I didn't do that.
And who did we decide who the release managers are going to be?
Well, so I reached out to James Peach and Ian X to see if they had any bandwidth for it, and they do not for the current release.
Okay.
I had a meeting with Alex, and Alex is willing to chip in and like help me out significantly with the current release. So I think that the two of us were planning on still doing 1.6.
Okay, so you are still planning to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to Ian and James, and I hadn't reached out to anyone else.
Got it.
I think we'll be able to manage. So we were just going to continue with 1.6.
Okay.
I think I agree with your point, Greg. So I think for the list, we could maybe for now we could just sync on the dev mailing list and the user mailing list, as well as the Slack channel. Because right now we have 4 working groups, and but I think participants they are not like increasing like very quickly. So I don't want like most of the attendees to be distracted by too many working groups. So maybe for now, we should maybe just have everyone like focus on a couple of the working group and not like starting too many new working group for the near term.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I had another item here asking ASF about spammers in chat, and I actually hadn't seen that recently. I had rolled this over a few times, so I was just going to punt on that unless it becomes a problem again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the content was like inappropriate or offensive. It was just kind of weirdly formatted. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't seem desperate.
Yeah.
Did that happen recently as well?
I haven't seen one in a while.
Okay.
But I don't keep that close of an eye on Mesos Slack, so.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Seen it in the last couple of months, I don't think.
Yeah. I did take a look at Artem's review board code a little bit, but I'm not sure what we will do with that in the short term. We've talked a couple times about what we might do with it, and I feel like we don't have any concrete plans of what we actually.
What was the context behind looking at Artem's code? Or we're trying to automate?
Well, previously we were trying to keep track of how many open reviews were in review board, trying to minimize that number. And so this code was kind of a tool that we had used to track the state of review board. And I think one thing that came up during a recent discussion was that I'm not sure how bad it is necessarily to have a bunch of open reviews on review board. I don't know that there's anything we really need to do there.
Was this the discussion from last time? What last time we met on the working group meeting?
I cannot remember if it was last. It looks like it. So that would have been two meetings ago. We chatted about it.
Oh, so the discussion is about like decrease the number of open review patches.
Well, that is something that we had used this code for in the past. Was just to get a snapshot of the current state of review board. Beyond that, I don't really know what we might use it for. I think my TLDR for me is that I don't really see any real action items for like what we might use that code for, or I don't think we have a real need to like be monitoring the state of review board necessarily. So if people have thoughts or ideas on that, we can certainly discuss it.
Have you looked at any tools like open source tool or anything like that automatically does review board stats, or there are no such things?
I think we were looking at Kibble for a while, and we decided we were going to
Kibble was a
reach
new
out to them
thing
about it. Yeah, it was the new Apache project that was gathering all sorts of data from places. But
it didn't look really useful, I think, when
yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't like this is going to solve all our problems or anything. So, and it's still in development basically. So they're not really looking like it's not ready for prime time yet. And I think they're like basically looking for pilot projects to help them develop Kibble. Yeah. So it looked pretty cool, and they had a little trial thing that we clicked around in, and it gets like ponymail stats and stuff like that. But it just depends on if we actually have a use for those statistics or not. Like if we don't really plan on doing anything with them, or we don't have the bandwidth to do anything with them, then I'm not sure it's really worth at this point sinking a bunch of energy into gathering them just for funsies. But if there was a time when we were going to say like, hey, yeah, I think it's really worth it to, put people who owe reviews in a room together and say like, hey, you review these, this is your time to review them, then it would be useful to know how many open reviews we have.
I still think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, but I'm not the person who has to sit in the room and review a bunch of PRs. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the hackathon style, like just a forcing function to get people to do something during a certain amount of time, to me is useful for my working style, but I don't know how much bandwidth the committers have for that.
Could I add a tangential feature request / action item, as long as we're talking about like review board API sort of related stuff? Because I know something that's been bugging me as a committer that I think we could automate, especially because I've seen it done over in Zookeeper. So if you guys know, when you put up a patch, right, and you add a bug item to your patch, you then not only have your patch on the bug, you then have to go over to the bug, change it, you have to make sure it's accepted, then you have to start progress on it, you got to post review on it, and you got to go copy the link over into it, and that's just to get your bug item into a reviewable state, even though you already posted a review for it. It's just, especially when you do like a chain of these, where you're working on 5 bugs with 5 patches, it's so much time to do when it's something that could be so easily automated. Zookeeper has managed to automate this with Jira. They're also an Apache project using Jira, but I think their automation is now centered around GitHub.
You got cut off there.
Which part?
So, Andy, I think you're getting cut off.
Oh no.
You're breaking up.
I can hear okay.
Quite a bit.
I can hear it.
It's all silent now.
Yeah, I'm hoping the connection. Okay, I think you guys are breaking up because your videos are skipped around a bit. Is it all back and good now?
Oh, it does? Okay.
Okay.
Should we take a video maybe?
Yeah, we can do that.
So I was saying we should look at automating some of the review board Jira integration stuff that committers do a lot of by hand right now. Because if we automated it, we would also stop ending up having reviews go up and fix a bug and the bug just stay open, because that happened. Actually, at a hackathon, I'd found an issue that we thought, oh, this is a good hackathon project, and I investigated it with the student, and we get down to it, and we're like, wait, this isn't a bug anymore. Oh, it had been closed, and nobody had closed the bug. So I know we were saying stats around review board, probably not so useful, but if we're looking at review board automation, I think there is value in getting review board and Jira to work better together.
So you're saying, Andy, for Zookeeper, is that, so I know for like Apache Hadoop, for example, they put reviews or patches into the Jira itself. And then the review board essentially kicks off based off Jira, and then comments in Jira about test results. Is that what Zookeeper does, or Zookeeper actually uses review board as kind of source of truth, and then it goes back and updates Jira?
No, they previously did the Hadoop version. You'd post your patch as an attachment to the issue, and that would go put it on, I believe it would put it on review board and update it. They've actually transitioned away from review board and now use GitHub. But what they do have is you open a pull request, and the first part of the subject is like Zookeeper dash the number of the Jira bug. And they have a bot that goes, oh, cool, goes over to the review, copies over all the conversation that happens in the GitHub issue, puts the review to be in progress, and links it to the GitHub issue. I was thinking same kind of thing, but for when you put up a review board patch with a bug number in it, we could just automate putting it into a reviewable state and linking the issue over to it. And follow that up with, when you close it as submitted, close the associated bug as submitted.
Yeah. I think, at least I thought about this a while ago when we were writing the post reviews and push commits and all that. I'm pretty sure there's also a to-do in there, at least in the push commits version, where once you push it, right now it closes the review automatically if you use the script, but it doesn't go to Jira and close the review. And I think it's mainly because it wasn't clear to me how easy it is to interact with Jira through a Python code base, because I don't think I found like RBT equivalent for Jira that is open source that I could use. Maybe there is one that I just didn't find. But also like getting users credentials to be able to log into Jira and then post a comment, keeping track of that session and everything. I just thought it's complicated, but there is a way to do it. Especially Zookeeper has done it, maybe we can see the code on how they did it. But yeah, that's a complication when I was doing push commits and stuff, where I thought, okay, it'd be nice to integrate also with Jira, and I just thought there's no real nice CLI that we can shell out to do that stuff.
I see. So trouble working with an API, like no CLI API to use.
Yeah. That's, at least when I looked at it, this was probably like a year ago. I don't know if there's something else popped up, maybe a Python library or
that'd
a
be
CLI
nice.
we can shell out to. But basically, you need to be able to get users' credentials, maintain that session somewhere in the cookie, and be able to do that stuff just like RBT does for review board. I think without that, it would be a lot of us writing code for the Jira APIs, which I don't know if anyone has time at this point to do.
Right. I mean, you're right. I don't want to duplicate that code for sure, considering, well, my hope is there's other projects doing it. Since I've seen them do it with GitHub and Jira, I assume they have code available somewhere to help us out. Maybe I could bug infra. Being mostly Apache tools, right, like Review Board and Jira, you would hope that Apache Infra would be like, yeah, here's how you can automate that.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I also wonder how simple it would be to automate, because we don't, like, there isn't there may be multiple reviews for a particular ticket. And sometimes you land a few patches in a ticket and close them as submitted. But the issue itself isn't closed yet. So I guess in that case, the committer would have to know to go reopen the ticket.
Well, I would hope it's more interactive than that. Like, instead of someone closing review directly, someone should be using push commits script. And that one should be interactive enough to say, hey, I found these bugs. Can I close this? Can I mark this closed? And you could, by default, it's probably yes. And maybe you could say no if you think it's still not done yet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just learning about this push commits Python script.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's something that I kind of wrote to basically solve the problem of having to remember to close each review.
Yeah. Okay, so you got that part automated. That makes me happy. We got some of it done. This would be a good place. If review has an issue, ask, do you want to close this issue?
Yeah.
And if it's already closed, no op.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's even a place we could look at doing this.
Definitely the push commit script is probably the best place for us to integrate. Right now that expects you to, so instead of basically doing once you do an apply reviews onto the master as a committer, instead of doing a git push, you would just use the script to do push commits, and it basically extracts the review links from the commits and then closes them, marks them as closed. And you could imagine it could also get the bug ID from the review and actually asks you to close those as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh, and in our the other part that I wanted, which is like to move a review into a reviewable state, we could probably put into a post reviews as you're putting the reviews up.
Yeah, totally.
Because I know I added like some options to that script to automatically add people to all the reviews, so you don't have to go to each review you posted and paste in the names over and over. We could do one for a bug ID too, so you could post a review with a bug ID all at once, and it would update. Okay, all right, yeah, I got ideas. I might look at some of this.
Awesome.
Cool.
You can put an action item on me to see where I get in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
So the GMT command line interface.
Okay.
Plugin looks like.
Hey, Gilbert, there was an action item for you to move the working group meetings information to the community page.
This one, I forget this one from my radar. But I will come up with it very soon. Should be very quick.
All right. I'll move it up so we don't forget to bother you about it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And Judith, how about these?
Yeah. The Indeed blog, I looked at it. Patrick said that he was going to get back to us at the beginning of April, so I owe him an email now. But I didn't want to bug him before he said he was going to be ready. Or maybe I already emailed him.
Yeah, I think I did remember seeing an email from you this past couple weeks.
Yeah, there you go. So I haven't gotten a response back, though, so I'll bug him again.
Cool.
And Andy, I wanted to say I checked on whether or not we have Mesos swag, but we don't have any Mesos swag here, except for the stickers that we sent before the hackathon actually happened.
I think Jorg got them T-shirts actually. There were, I got Jorg in touch with the three of them, and I know they exchanged T-shirt sizes and addresses. I'm assuming they probably finished after that. I could follow up with them just to make sure.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I was like, oh, it's kind of weird to send them Mesosphere shirts, but then who knows? So hopefully you're good. But yeah, we might want to think about Mesos swag. I don't know, like if we could sponsor that with our marketing team, or if anybody else could sponsor it. But it would be fun.
Like T-shirts.
Yeah, like
or
sweatshirts or something.
I would love to have some around.
I would be so stoked. Like the only Mesos shirt I have, Adam Bordelone gave it to me when he went away to travel the world.
I guess we have the Mesos Con swag, but I guess we don't have Apache Mesos.
Yeah, exactly.
Swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask the marketing team about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
How far that gets.
Okay. So that's all the action items from last time. Agenda for this week. Just a couple items that I put down. The first one is checking in about the frequency of this meeting. The last couple meetings, we haven't had a bunch of agenda items. So I was wondering if you guys thought that the bi-weekly cadence was good, or should we go to monthly? What do y'all think?
I like it as a forcing function for keeping us accountable for the action items we don't do.
I agree.
But I mean,
yeah, like even if we don't have agenda, looks like we're having discussions like on the fly. Sounds like there were no meetings where we didn't have stuff to discuss. So I think the lack of agenda is just a reflection of lack of advanced preparation in some sense from us, but sounds like we are having some fruitful discussions, I feel like, every time.
Yeah. Okay.
I would vote for keeping it for bi-weekly.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I just wanted to check in on it. Sounds like folks think bi-weekly is good. That's fine.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to check in about blog posts. When Ben Mahler and I chatted a couple weeks ago about this, I think the top item that we were thinking of in terms of blog posts we would like to see are some posts from Mesos users about their experiences, about why they use Mesos, So I reached out to Zhitao, and he said he's actually already gotten approval from folks at Uber to do a blog post. He just hasn't found time to put it together yet. But he's planning on doing one. I don't know precisely the content there. Like, I don't know if he has an angle planned yet. But I wanted to see if you guys had thoughts on particular people I could or should reach out to at companies that are using Mesos for blog posts like this.
Microsoft.
Yeah, Andy, what do you think?
My only problem is I know that the big customers that we have using it are under NDAs with us. So I'm not quite sure how detailed a blog post would be about the use of Mesos here. That said, I also know there are some Azure people kind of using it in a more public fashion. I could look around.
Okay.
The other thing that we might want to do is just go down the users page on the Mesos website and check in with those people, like see who proposed putting their company down as a user and say like, hey, are you still using Mesos? Do you want to talk about it a little bit more on the blog?
That's a big list.
It is a big list. It's
50, 60 people, I think, users.
Yeah.
I think we could contact, I think the big ones are probably Apple, which I'm assuming they don't want to write a blog post, maybe Yelp, and maybe Twitter. These are the big ones that I think are kind of active in the community in some sense and would have something they would like to write.
Do you know who a good contact at Twitter would be for that?
Well, it's going to be David or Ian Downs, but both of them haven't replied to the DevSync meeting to me yet, so I don't know how responsive they would be regarding the blog post.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be Ian Downs and Ian Downs or David McLaughlin at Twitter. We could probably reach out to Sunil at Yelp. And who else? Yeah, those are probably the two candidates other than Uber, I would say, to reach out.
And I met somebody at Huff and Milton Harcourt who has been really eager to talk more about Mesos and their use of it. So he might be interested in writing a blog.
Okay.
Yeah, he just he just helped start the Mesos and DCOS user group in Chicago.
Okay.
A new meetup, so he's pretty dedicated to talking about it.
Oh, awesome.
I think he's like having desperate problems trying to hire people who know about Mesos, and so he's just trying to get the word out that like they're using it, they love it, blah blah blah. So
okay, so this might serve his purposes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think you could send like an introduction email to myself and him?
Yeah, sure.
And when we say they want to blog about Mesos, we are not necessarily saying they should blog on mesos.apache.org, right? They could blog on their own website and we could cross-post it into a website or something. I would imagine most companies want to do it on their website to get traffic and all that.
Yeah.
And we can just get permission from them to see if we can cross-post it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what company was that you?
It's Huff and Milton Harcourt. They're an old school publishing company that started in like the 1800s or something.
Okay.
The guy's name is Robert Allen.
Cool.
Yeah, they're doing some cool stuff. They're excited to talk about it.
Okay.
I actually gave a talk at MesosCon about it too.
Yeah, I think Zhitao is trying to land some features in the next few weeks, so I'm guessing he will not find time for a month or two to do their blog posts. So it'd be cool if we could come up with something else for the short term.
I think our internet is flaky. There's something that said internet is unstable.
Okay, well, can you guys hear me okay right now?
I can.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Judith and Vinod are No, maybe not. Oh, okay.
Hey.
So I don't have anything else for the agenda. Do you guys have any other items that you wanted to discuss today?
Nope, not for me.
Yeah, I'm set.
I'm good.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's everybody. So we've got a few action items for next time. And yeah, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks.
Get a little-
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.